Watching News 3 Now at 5. Our alert day continues tonight because of potential flooding could be caused by some more heavy rainfall. Earlier today, some trees, they were uprooted, blocking roads here in Middleton. More storms could bring heavy rain, hail, even a possible tornado in southern Wisconsin tonight. We'll have live team coverage of the alert day. We begin with Gary tracking the storm. Kyle also live in downtown Madison. Gary, what's the latest?
Well, right now we're kind of in a lull, at least here in the Madison area, which is good news because there are heavy storms to our west, to our east, and to our south, but everything is kind of rotating around us for right now. Let's start out by taking a look at flood watches. A flood watch remains in effect until 11 p.m. for Dane and Columbia counties and areas to the east. That does include Milwaukee. Rain vision rainfall accumulations over the last 24 hours shows a band of about 2 to 3 inches of rain from around Fond du Lac to around Columbus, just to the west of Madison through Dodgeville, and then down into southwestern Wisconsin and into Dubuque, Iowa, where about 4.5 inches of rain has fallen. But you can see that cluster of storms in far southwestern Wisconsin down around Dubuque, that is heading mainly into northern Illinois. Now, that may rotate back into at least parts of southeastern Wisconsin, but the other rain that was with us earlier is now into the Milwaukee area and kind of shifting out into Lake Michigan. 6-hour future track radar, for the most part, keeps the heaviest rain to our south and to our east. So areas south and east of Madison will be more at a threat for flooding and heavy rain. There's also an outside chance of an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm with perhaps a brief isolated tornado. This is not a big tornado producing situation, but already there have been some funnel clouds in the Dubuque, Iowa area from these storms earlier. As we take a look at visible cloud track, you can kind of see that little hole kind of developing around Madison where the sun is starting to appear. And actually, temperatures have warmed up into the upper 60s to near 70 in Madison, whereas there's more clouds to the west and to the east. That's holding temperatures down. Here in Dane County right now, Middleton is at 70 degrees, but Madison is at 69. Temperatures will drop off into the lower 60s by late evening. The shower should come to an end around midnight, and then dry weather is on the way. I'll have more on the heavy rain and severe weather potential for the rest of the evening in just a few minutes.
All right, Gary, thank you. It has been a wet moving day for many UW-Madison students today. The 14th, of course, that's when many leases are up, making for streets packed with moving trucks. Kyle Pozorski live near downtown with how students are dealing with the unpleasant elements out there today. Kyle.
Eric, students I spoke with today tell me that, they didn't expect to have to live through the worst day to possibly move out, but actually they had to because of the rain earlier today. They tell me that while it was unfortunate that the weather didn't cooperate today, they don't really have a choice with leasing ending. One student's mom I spoke with tells me that this morning's rain was intense, but for the most part, she managed to escape being too drenched.
The downpour was pretty intense. It was flooding, and I just stayed in the truck. They waited, and we waited it out for a few minutes.
When it comes to like all this stuff, that we have to get rid of, it's like any other day. You can throw it out on the curb, it's fine. But now it's just ruined.
I also spoke with the City of Madison Streets Division, which says for those moving, they need to remember to not put certain items on the curb when you're moving out. This includes computers, TVs, and other electronics. Most appliances, including microwaves and air conditioners, also require a fee for collection at their drop-off sites. You can head to cityofmadison.com/moving days to find out more information if you need it to figure out what is allowed for putting it out on the curb and what is not. Reporting here in Madison, Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Stay up to date on the weather with our First Warn Forecast weather app, hourly forecast, road conditions, the latest radar, and they'll also alert you about any severe weather in your area. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather. Tomorrow, President Biden will make his 6th trip to Wisconsin, this time in Milwaukee. Here with the details now on that visit is political reporter Will Keneally. Will?
So kind of in a sweet spot right now, with the president touting some of what he's worked on during his first term in office while gearing up at the same time for re-election. And for political scientists here in Wisconsin, it makes sense why Biden is stopping here and now.
At least right now, it seems like there are 4 to 6 states that are competitive.
And good news for Wisconsinites who love the political attention.
Among the states that are competitive, they don't really get more competitive than Wisconsin.
Szygoski says it makes sense that the sitting president is focusing on Wisconsin. He does not have a significant Democratic challenger.
A major challenge for presidential candidates is that they have to focus on the party nomination and then pivot to the general election. In someone like Joe Biden's position, Joe Biden does not need to worry about his party's nomination at all. And that means he can be laser focused on these swing states in the 2024 election.
That's different from Republicans, who have to focus heavily on early states like Iowa and New Hampshire to make it through the primary process. The debate next week for Republicans here in Wisconsin is tied to the Republican National Convention, which will be in Milwaukee a little less than a year from now. The focus on the general election is also an opportunity for Biden to shape his message early.
Biden's approval rating has been dragged down by persistent inflation. And for the Biden team and the White House, I think their goal is to try to change the narrative on the economy.
The president is visiting a center in Milwaukee that has manufactured wind turbine parts and comes a day after the first anniversary of the Sweeping Inflation Reduction Act being signed into law.
Perceptions of the economy are so important. It truly is the case that perception can be reality when it comes to the economy.
Now, the president is expected to speak tomorrow afternoon, and we will have full coverage of his visit throughout the evening.
Well, thank you. New at 5, Rock County authorities are investigating after someone was found dead inside an abandoned home. Sheriff's office received an anonymous tip Sunday afternoon saying a body was found inside the home in the town of Turtle, just outside Beloit. A medical examiner still working to identify that individual and find out how they died. Officials don't believe there's any danger to the public. We're learning new details about a deadly crash on West Washington Avenue that happened last week. Police confirmed an 83-year-old man died from his injuries as a result of the crash. They say shortly after 9 p.m. last Wednesday, the victim was turning onto Vilas Avenue when he was hit by another vehicle. That vehicle was driven by a 25-year-old who was reportedly speeding. Officers also say they found an empty bottle of alcohol inside his vehicle. The man has not been formally charged, but is facing tentative charges of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle. New at 5, Department of Justice Office of School Safety officials provided critical incidents response training in DeForest today. Training held at DeForest High School. Now, the purpose is to provide critical incident response team members the right-size solutions-oriented approach to crisis response and recovery techniques. Organizers say it's also important these techniques supplement the resources and support networks that are already in place at our schools.
We define a crisis event as anything that is unexpected, unpredictable, and creates psychological upset for our youth or our staff. And so these interventions are applicable large and small from us.
Yeah. Officials say that crisis could be anything from the death of a student, teacher, or family member to something like a school shooting. A reminder, we want to make sure every child in Dane County is set up for success this school year, partnering with the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County to collect school supplies through next Friday. You can drop off supplies at our studios here in News 3 Now or at any Metcalf's or Walgreens location. The Boys and Girls Club looking for all kinds of items, including boxes of pens, pencils, and highlighters, pencil cases, notebooks, and folders, as well as backpacks, headphones, tissues, hand sanitizer, and much more. You can find a link to their back-to-school wish list at Amazon and also donate that way as well. Through this story, the link at channel3000.com/back-to-school. A former UW-Madison student who pled guilty to sexual assault while he attended the university is back in jail. A Minnesota judge ruled that Alec Ross Cook should be civilly committed as a sexually dangerous person to a Minnesota sex offender program. Our Catherine Merck shows us how this case that made national headlines isn't over quite yet. Catherine.
27-year-old Cook was just involved in a Minnesota trial in mental health court, where attorneys argued Cook was likely to reoffend. That caused the judge to civilly commit Cook as a sexually dangerous person. That's according to the Star Tribune. Back in 2016, when he was arrested, Cook's actions made a significant impact on UW-Madison's campus. UW-Madison police spokesperson and Cook's attorney spoke to the amount of victims and Cook's reputation.
I don't think we've seen something like this in a long time, where we have this many people coming forward.
He's been painted as the face of evil in Madison and now across the entire nation, across the globe. That's wrong, and we're going to do everything we can to show that to the DA and eventually, if necessary, to a jury.
While the state wanted Cook sentenced to more than 19 years in prison, his defense fought for probation. He served a 3-year prison sentence. When one victim spoke to us, she told us how his actions changed her life forever, which became her reason for coming forward.
I trusted him to not destroy me as a person, and that was betrayed. Being more comfortable with the fact that something will be done about it comforted me enough to make that first call. And the first call was definitely the hardest to make.
Cook has been out of custody for the past 3 years, according to his attorney. He's been part of the Minnesota sex offender program where as recent as January 2022, he had trouble finding his behavior as criminal. And that's according to the Star Tribune once again. The Minnesota judge will formally share a decision in court at a review hearing on August 21st.
Well, now to Georgia, where a grand jury could decide this week to indict former President Donald Trump. This would be Trump's 4th indictment this year. Witnesses started appearing before the grand jury in Atlanta today. Georgia's district attorney and prosecutors are investigating possible interference in the 2020 presidential election by former President Trump and his allies, including a call to Secretary of State of Georgia Brad Raffensperger. CBS News legal analyst Jessica Levinson says the DA will try to show that Trump and his team were acting like a criminal enterprise.
You essentially have to prove that 2 or more crimes were committed by 2 or more people and that they were trying to protect or control an institution, property, or an interest.
Now, earlier this year, a special purpose grand jury in Georgia said it believed perjury was committed by several individuals and recommended the DA seek appropriate indictments. Some important recalls to warn you about. First, Toyota has issued a voluntary recall for certain 2022 and 23 Tundra and Tundra hybrid trucks. The vehicles have a plastic fuel tube which could rub against a brake line and develop a fuel leak. Toyota says such a leak could possibly cause a fire in the presence of an ignition source. The Japanese car maker will replace the tube for free and is preparing to make the replacement parts available. Owners can go to toyota.com/recall and enter their vehicle identification number or license plate information to see if their car is a part of that recall. Now, Nestle also recalling some of its products, the chocolate chip cookie dough. The company says 2 batches of its Break and Bake bar products potentially could contain wood fragments. The affected batches were produced in April. No illnesses or any injuries have been reported, but anyone who purchased the dough should return it for a replacement or refund. Nestle says it is confident it's an isolated issue and apologizes for the inconvenience. Coming up, Gary has the latest on our alert day around here, plus harrowing stories of survival in Hawaii as the effort begins to move displaced locals out of shelters and into temporary housing after the devastating wildfires there. And on Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average climbing 26 points to start the week. The NASDAQ with a strong 143.5-point gain. The S&P at 26. We'll be right back.
Your John Deere is here. Get yours during our Gear Up for Fall sales event. Right now, get your new Gator utility vehicle with 0% for 36 months. Get a John Deere now. And
power up at Sloan's.
Fall just got greener at Sloan's.
You and running have been together for a while now. Fact is, so has Morgan's Good Form Running. We're here to help runners achieve their goals and push their limits in every sport or adventure they pursue. That kind of performance demands real innovations in technology, shape, and fit.
And we're experts in all of it, so no matter why you run, your best race starts here.
Morgan's Good Form Running, Hilldale.
Do you suffer from chronic or severe back or neck pain? Did you know that there is now a treatment method available right here at Midwest Spine and Nerve Center that offers hope of avoiding spinal surgery for those suffering with bulging, herniated, or degenerative discs? Our therapies help reduce pain related to these conditions and have a high success rate in helping people just like you avoid back or neck surgery.
I've experienced low back pain for over 15 years. I had back surgery when I was 26 and had difficulties recovering. The doctors at Midwest Spine and Nerve Center have given me a new lease on life. I am now able to enjoy an active, pain-free lifestyle.
Call Midwest Spine and Nerve Center now to schedule a no-obligation consultation to see if our progressive pain-relieving therapies are right for you.
Construction invites you to celebrate summer with our hot summer sale. We're talking about hot savings of 23%. Many of your neighbors already know how we strive to meet and exceed expectations with each and every project. That's why they voted us Best Roofer 3 years in a row. Experience the best of Madison for yourself with Fry Construction. Get on board for our hot summer sale. Save 23% off gutters or insulation with any full siding project. Schedule your consultation today at fryconstruction.com.
Your John Deere is here. Get yours during Gear Up for Fall. Right now, get 0.9% for 84 months on a 2032R. Get a John Deere now. And
Power up with Sloan's.
fall just got a little greener at Sloan's.
A first warned weather alert day remains in the forecast for this evening. At 6, I'll be tracking the storms and let you know how they'll impact you this evening.
And it's been a wet move-in day for many students across Madison. We're talking with some who braved the elements tonight at 6.
Get ready for an improved news experience. The all-new Channel 3000 News app is here. Experience a website-like layout and swipe through articles without returning to the home screen. Download the Channel 3000 News app, powered by News 3 Now.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
The death toll in Hawaii now stands at 96 as teams continue to search hard-to-reach areas for survivors. Hundreds of families have been left devastated by the flames. Jeff Nguyen has the latest from Maui.
As firefighters put out hotspots on the island of Maui, search and recovery teams are making their way through the devastation.
They will find 10 to 20 people per day probably until they finish. It's hard to recognize anybody, but they're able to determine if someone did perish.
Hawaii's governor has been on the ground in the historic town of Lahaina, which saw the most casualties.
The quickness with which it happened was the craziest part.
This resident walked for miles along a road covered in thick smoke to get to safety.
We walked about 4 miles. We were passed by over 20 vehicles.
Others, like Cassandra Villasenor, jumped into the water to escape the flames.
We had to go under the water to stay cool and, breathe as calmly as we could.
At one point, this church sheltered nearly 300 evacuees. Last night, the governor's office relocated about 80 displaced locals into hotels for at least a month. At the Westin Maui in Ka'anapali, this worker is helping to feed hundreds of hotel workers and their family members.
Here we got running water, now we got electricity, we got cell service now as of last night.
Many residents have expressed frustration about having little warning before the flames swept in.
I've lived here for 23 years. I've heard the siren go many times, or heartbroken that people couldn't get out or didn't get alerted.
The governor says a comprehensive review is underway to determine why the state's siren system failed. Jeff Nguyen, CBS News, Maui, Hawaii.
And the cause of the wildfires also under investigation. Officials estimate the recovery will cost more than $5 billion. And Hawaiian officials say it's the deadliest natural disaster the state has ever experienced. If you'd like to help the people affected by these fires, get in touch with the Red Cross. You can donate by phone by calling 1-800-HELP-NOW or the number there on your screen. For more ways to donate, look for the story at channel3000.com. An alert day expects more severe storms. Southern Wisconsin. Gary, though, has the very latest on what we can expect.
Yeah, it's not so much the severe weather threat. It's more the heavy rain threat that we're looking at. There's a possibility of an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm, but it's mainly the heavy rain threat that we're looking at right now. Parts of southern Wisconsin have received anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain, and any additional rainfall is going to cause flooding in those areas. So it's mainly low-lying areas and poor drainage areas because obviously we've been in a drought, so the ground has absorbed a fair amount of the water, but when you start getting 2, 3, 4 inches of rain, especially over short periods of time, that's where you start to run into some flooding issues. And this will mainly last through this evening. I think most of the rain should be over with by midnight. Now, as we take a look at flood watches that are currently in effect, Madison, Dane County, Columbia County, and areas to the east toward Milwaukee County, those areas all under flood watches till 11 p.m., runs until midnight for northeastern Illinois, including the Chicago area. This is rain vision rainfall accumulations. This is a really good estimate from the Doppler radars, and you can clearly see where the band of heavier rain set up from just south of Fond du Lac to around Beaver Dam, Columbus, into, say, Sauk City, Dodgeville, and into far southwestern Wisconsin. Zooming in around Madison and Dane County, you can see these are radar estimates of about 2.5 to 3 inches of rain in that narrow band over toward Cross Plains and Mazomanie, over toward Dodgeville and down toward Mineral Point. And then farther to the south and west, about 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain over southwestern Wisconsin, over toward Platteville. But notice you get across the Mississippi River into Dubuque County, start to see those amounts go up into the 4 to 4.5 inch range because thunderstorms have just kind of rotated in the same area. So that area is actually under a flash flood warning until 10:45 tonight. But you can see those storms are moving to the south. Eventually they'll move eastward and maybe start heading northward like the storm storms that you see over in parts of eastern Wisconsin. So everything is rotating around low pressure, which is almost sitting right over Madison. Kind of puts us in the dry spot, at least for now. But we'll have to see how these storms rotate in. Because of the fact that they are rotating around, there's the possibility that a brief tornado could spin up. There have been a number of funnel cloud reports out of these storms across Iowa and into parts of northern Illinois. 6-hour future track radar, though, again, shows those storms drifting more toward the south and eventually toward the east rather than coming toward Madison. So maybe that's some good news for us. But again, the potential is there for an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm. Also, some of these storms have been producing hail over parts of far southern Wisconsin down toward the Illinois state line. So again, a flood watch in effect until 11 p.m. for Madison and areas to the east. Planning your evening, the thunderstorm threat gradually starts to wind down. This is 7 p.m. Again, most of those storms more into northern Illinois and eastern Wisconsin. Then as we head toward 11 p.m., maybe the last batch coming on through, and by 1 o'clock in the morning, pretty much everything's starting to wind down. Heaviest rainfall over the next few hours, more likely to favor southeastern Wisconsin. The farther west and north you go, the less in the way of rain, and that's good news because that's the area that got the heaviest amount of rain. Planning your night across Dane County, 56 in Verona, 56 for the low in Windsor. Skies will actually clear out overnight. Across the rest of southern Wisconsin, a low of 59 in Monroe and 56 in La Crosse. Tomorrow, we're back to bright sunshine. Should be a nice day, sunny skies. High temperature at 77. First warn 7 to 10 day forecast. Temperatures go up to 83 on Wednesday, maybe a thunderstorm Wednesday night, and an early shower on Thursday, and then dry weather after that. But the humidity comes back for the weekend, and take a look at the temperatures. Up into the lower 90s. Heat index readings could be in the middle to upper 90s a couple of those days, and maybe a little bit of a cool down toward the end of next week. As we check out first warn traffic today, not seeing too much of an issue on the Beltline. Traffic moving pretty much at the posted speed limits. A little bit of a slowdown on I-39, 90, 94, just north of the I-94 interchange. Travel time's really good on the Beltline, 14 minutes either direction, 17 minutes inbound from Sun Prairie to downtown. Heading back outbound, it'll take you 20 minutes, 16 minutes from Middle to Sauk City on US 12, and the Beltline to Janesville on I-39 90 is a 25-minute trip. That's your News 3 Now first warn traffic.
Gary, thank you. Some new stats from NASA today about just how hot it was in the month of July. The average global temperature in July more than 2 degrees above average, and Earth's hottest month ever recorded. That follows a run of rising temperatures that go back almost a decade.
The last 9 years are the warmest on record. And folks, Mother Nature is sending us a message. And that message is we better act now before it's too late to save our climate.
NASA scientists say man-made greenhouse gas emissions are a big reason why the temperatures keep rising. They say increased use of renewable energy sources like solar and wind power can help reduce greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. Next at 5, health experts say college students can be some of the most vulnerable to develop eating disorders. How to protect your student after the break.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Secure your home, add privacy, and keep your children and pets safe with one call to Revamp Fence, South Central Wisconsin's trusted source for high-quality fencing solutions. Revamp Fence installs state-of-the-art vinyl structures 5 times stronger than wood, wind, water, and fade-resistant, easy to clean and maintain, with a variety of stunning color combinations to enhance curb appeal, and backed with a lifetime warranty. Call now during our home safety event. You'll save with 50% off installation of a new fence, or choose 24 months no interest financing. Plus, receive a $250 Home Depot gift card with purchase and a bonus. Call during this program and receive a free upgrade to solar fence post cap lights. From Madison and South Central Wisconsin, call 1-800-565-5096. That's 1-800-565-5096.
To everyone who's hungry for something special,
Culver's is the place for us. Hi, what can I make fresh for you today? It's nice being greeted by people who are glad to see you. And I appreciate that they use real ingredients like fresh beef and Wisconsin cheese. The frozen custard is so fresh and creamy, it tastes like it was made just for us. It's our pleasure. Just spending time with family, that's what mealtime at Culver's is all about.
From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious!
At Bergstrom Automotive, you'll never pay above manufactured suggested retail price. That'd be like bringing a sword to a dinosaur fight. Silly. That would be silly. Yes, you'll always pay fair market price and never above MSRP. If you're tired of hearing no, join the Bergstrom Automotive family for the yes. Bergstrom for the yes.
Wish you had help getting things done. Same. So I got Spectrum One. It's fast internet, unlimited mobile, and advanced Wi-Fi, all for a great price. Spectrum helps me run all this easily. Work, bust. Treat dispenser, treating. And since I'm always on this, unlimited mobile is a no-brainer.
Get Spectrum Internet for $49.99 a month plus advanced Wi-Fi and your first line of unlimited mobile free for 12 months. Call 833-802-4999 or visit spectrum.com today.
Update your roof and get 11% off everything at Menards. Your roof is the first line of defense for protecting your home. And Owens Corning shingles are the #1 most trusted brand by contractors. Choose from over 50 styles and get ultimate protection with a limited lifetime warranty and up to 130-mile-per-hour wind warranty. Save on your entire roofing project and get 11% off all Owens Corning shingles right now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Nearly 29 million Americans will experience an eating disorder in their lifetime, and college students can be especially vulnerable to developing these serious, life-threatening conditions. Mandy Gaither shares how parents can help protect their children from eating disorders.
The transition to college isn't always easy, and today's students are at greater risk than ever. A November 2022 study found the chance of college students developing an eating disorder rose 13 percentage points from 2013 to 2021.
And unfortunately, about 70% of patients with eating disorders won't actually seek treatment or have barriers in terms of seeking treatments.
Dr. Laura Dorr is part of the eating disorder team at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. She says college can be especially hard on students as they may be away from family for the first time, planning their own meals, trying to fit in with peers.
Students who are competitive athletes, unfortunately, are at higher risk, and so they may be entering the college sports arena and be dealing with some issues themselves as they start in that process.
Dorr says parents can help protect their children from eating disorders by being a good role model, having a good relationship with food yourself, and watch for red flags. Signs a child may be struggling with disordered eating include headaches, dizziness, lack of energy, and difficulty sleeping. Dora also says it's critical to talk to your children.
It's about what they're eating, how their energy level is, what they're doing to help improve their health and nutrition. I think those are the conversations we need to have as parents, just to ensure that we're keeping the lines of communication open.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And we're back with a final check of your First Warn forecast in just a moment.
Mark, a little help here?
Oh, keep it down. The noise is making them angry.
Whoa. Hey, I'm not a beekeeper, but I can replace these windows fast.
Let Feldco be the experts in your home renewal. Right now, buy one window and you'll get one free. Plus, no interest for 1 year. And we'll get it done Feldco fast.
Buy one window, get one free, and soon. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Set summer in motion with the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. Like the CR-V and the Accord, both with available hybrid powertrains, designed to deliver more thrilling performance and more innovative tech. Make every adventure more electrifying with Honda, the most awarded brand in Car and Driver 10 Best history. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
At Lawton Cates, your life counts is more than just a slogan. It's connecting you with top medical specialists after a serious injury. It's holding the insurance company responsible for your lost wages and your hospital bills. It's a guarantee that we'll be with you every step of the way and won't accept anything less than the maximum payment you deserve. We'll speak with you for free, and there's no fee until we get results for you. Your life counts. Lawton Cates. Call us today.
I'm Megan Tim, Director of Community Health at SSM Health. You may know us as healthcare providers, but we live here too. And as good neighbors, we know our community thrives when we take care of each other. That's why SSM Health and News 3 Now are sharing the keys to health. Watch for our expert information and advice on air, online, and at fun local events. Join SSM Health and News 3 Now, and together, we'll unlock a healthier community by taking time for kids.
Create your perfect room for entertaining, relaxing, and more with patio enclosures. Right now, get 25% off your sunroom. Plus, enjoy exceptional financing. Call today.
Patio enclosures.
Here's your parachute.
Certain it's okay? Are you for imprint certain?
Certainty matters, so congratulate coworkers or say thank you with promotional products from 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.
Tonight on News 3 Now at 6, how a young girl is cooking up success in her Milwaukee neighborhood, plus how much does Wisconsin actually spend on State Fair cream puffs? The answer may surprise you. That's at 6. Gary's back. Final check of the rain out there. Whether you and I are involved.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the rain continues over parts of southwestern Wisconsin, but you can see the live view from the WISC-TV Skycam. We actually have some breaks in the clouds overhead. More clouds down toward Platteville, and there are some showers and thunderstorms south of Platteville, but they're heading more into northwestern Illinois. We'll have to see how those hold together. 6-hour future track radar shows the storms.
CBS Evening News is next.